Hey guys, Rich here. This is Brick Scene, and today we're looking at this. So this is it, the 1989 Batmobile, set number 76139, 3,306 pieces, 449 New Zealand dollars on release. Came out on Black Friday. We managed to get it at 901. It may be the first retail one to get sold, who knows. Look, what a beautiful model. I'm not going to beat around the bush here. This thing is stunning to look at. Let's get into it anyway. Look, the build itself. You start by building up the very base of the chassis. You are essentially building bricks all the way up. There's very little Technic pieces in here, to be honest. I thought there was going to be a lot more. Just looking at it, I thought there was going to be a major internal sort of Technic structure, but there isn't. It's more brick built. There's a few Technic beams, of course, to hold it together, but not as much as I thought there was going to be. You start off at the front. You're building the assembly there for the steering, the nose, all the way along the bonnet into the cockpit area, building all the detailing, and then into the rear end, and of course over the back and into the fins. What can I say? This build wasn't difficult by any stretch of the imagination. No way. Not difficult. Confusing, maybe a couple of bits. Could be a little bit confusing. Easy to make mistakes because of the number of black pieces. Internal is quite colourful, as is when you get models like this, but fairly easy to put together, easy to follow the instructions. I mean, it was certainly no surprising techniques or anything there. When I say no surprising techniques, there was some interesting little builds. When we're talking about the cockpit here, the way this opens, just something I personally hadn't seen before. There's some panels that are put on odd angles using different styles and different techniques to get them on those odd angles. This back piece, without explaining too much, it's nicely built and it fits in so well. As you can see with this whole model, everything just fits together so well. They have taken their time and really come up with a good one here. Took a little while to put it together. It's not repetitive neither. I mean, of course, you've got the symmetry, but you're building, different sections at a time. You're not there's no repetitive steps in here. That you're not building 25 of one thing or 30 of another thing or anything like that. It's nothing silly. It's quite easy to put together. The model itself is very sleek. There's the obvious the turbine at the front and the exhausts and the rear end of the lights, but everything else is just very sleek, and you have to sort of get close to actually see the details themselves. So around the front, yes, you've got the big intake, you've got this big long nose, very sleek, no studs. The studs start to come in as you get down the sides and towards the cockpit themselves. So there's this fin design over the gun plates or the gun covers. Big sweeping shape. It comes in, it narrows into the air intakes there, and then goes wide again over the rear wheels. As I say, the shapes that they've got and the little techniques they've used to get them to sit in there, they're in there nice and solid. Play features, you're limited to the cockpit opening. The steering turns. The only thing with the steering is that while you're building it, yes, you can turn the steering with the steering wheel, but once it's on the ground, you moving it around and trying to turn it with a steering wheel, you're just twisting the axles. It's not an easy thing to. It's just more of a look and move the wheels and see the steering wheel turn rather than move the steering wheel and see the wheels turn, if that makes sense. So looking at the cockpit, it's an all new piece there. It's this one big piece. It's a beautiful piece, actually. You have to see it on its own to really appreciate it. They managed to build up all around it to give it this nice full look. It slides beautifully as well, this mechanism, the way that they've created this. It's just sliding on a couple of long axles, but it's solid, it's in there, it's not moving around too much. The cockpit itself, again, really well done. No studs showing. The seats are nice. They've used these wheel arch pieces to get the top of the seats, the headrests on the seats. A few stickers in there for all the knobs and dials and readouts. The center bat on the tile on the steering wheel, that's a printed tile. You get a spare one of those. But look, just a really well done cockpit. I really like it. Now coming over to the back, and this shape they've got coming down with the vents and the fins, the vents on the rear and the fins on the sides here, beautiful, perfect shape. They've got it right. They've got the right number of vents. It just looks perfect. It just sits nicely. It looks good from all angles. It doesn't have a bad angle at all. As you come around to the back here, you've got the lights, you've got the exhaust, and of course you've got that big exhaust where the flames come out in the movie. It's just really, really beautiful, really well proportioned. It's a gorgeous model. Absolutely gorgeous model. I am very, very happy to be putting this on my shelf for a while. You will see it behind me and a few videos going forward. So the major play feature is that you turn this exhaust port at the back here, which then releases the panels over here to essentially display the guns. They are pretty cool. A very, very cool little feature, and movie accurate, of course. As I say, the final model itself is just the sleek, black, shiny looking thing. It's well proportioned, it's right, it looks great. It's 60 centimeters long, just over 60 centimeters long, so it's a big one. It's very solid, easy to pick up. Look, I've had no problems picking it up. Nothing falls off. There's no pieces that are sort of attached there really loose or really flimsily that are going to come loose every time you pick it up. The only little gripe that I have here is at the back, they don't sort of sit flush. These little side bits that are on the rear fins here, they kind of sort of protrude just with the bending of the plates themselves. May settle down over time. Nothing that spoils the overall view of the model. Gorgeous thing to look at. Great thing to have on display on a shelf. It's actually bigger in length than the tumbler. It's a little more sleek, a little lower than the tumbler itself, but in length it's certainly longer than the tumbler, and it looks great next to it. Actually, I will post some pics of it sitting next to it. I'm also going to be building the older 1989 Batmobile, the very early one, which I'll post pics of next to it as well. I just haven't managed to get time to build it in order to do before doing this review. Now look, like I say, the finished model, it's great. It has the stand that it comes on. Put this aside at the moment. It's very simple, very simple round sort of stand with the plaque attached to it. It's a little Technic cog wheel there that it just sits on. It attaches loosely. It doesn't attach with pins or anything like that underneath. But it's a great little stand. You know, it sits it up off the ground. And as I say, the model itself is very robust, so it's not going to break or anything when you put it on the stand. You could probably even put a bit of pressure on it, and it's not going to break or anything. It's going to fall off. Now onto the minifigs. The minifigs are pretty cool. This Batman, I believe this Batman is new with this new molded cape. Very, very interesting actually. I quite like it. It's a nice new mold. The Jack Nicholson Joker, great looking Joker, awesome little minifig, and of course Kim Basinger's character Vicky Vale. Now they come on this little stand that you build. Kind of looks like a building top with these gargoyle type things. I'm assuming that's what they are, little gargoyle statues on each side. Pretty cool. I like it when they do these little stands, and I like them when they're different and pertinent to the model. Now, the price, 450 New Zealand dollars, or 250 euros, 220 pounds, $250. That's a lot of cash, but this is a really big, solid model. And it'll look great next to any of these UCS models. Would I buy it again? Of course I would. Of course I would. This is a fantastic looking model. The level of detail that they have managed to get in this is just second to none. It's just, yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. I've had my eyes on it for quite a while. Since I saw the first pictures, I knew that I was going to like it, and it certainly hasn't let me down. I haven't got it home and looked at it and gone, or built it, sorry, and gone, you know what, this is not worth the money. It's definitely worth its money. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Big thanks again to Michael Howe. You know why, mate. Really appreciate it. See you next time.